Welcome to my first Blender tutorial for beginners. In today's tutorial, I will be teaching the basics of Blender, more specifically how to navigate in Blender, where the tools are and their functions. I know as a beginner, you might be overwhelmed by all these buttons and tools, but trust me when I say this, I have heard many professionals who have been in an industry for 20 plus years that don't even touch all of them. You will learn as you go, and with practice, you will improve over time. Alright, first, when you open Blender, this will be what you will see. On your top right, this is where you will see all the objects in the scene. I highly recommend you rename your objects when you model because it will save you time in the future. Moving downwards is your properties panel. This is the render properties. This will be used when you want to render an image or an animation. This is the output properties. Here you can change the frame rate, what type of file format you want to save your render image, and stuff like that. Next is the view layer properties, similar to the previous one, but more advanced, however it is not commonly used. Below it is the world properties. In Blender, the world is the environment that the scene is in. Blender's default world is a forest. Next is the object properties. This simply lets you control the location and rotation of each object. This mainly used when you start to animate objects in the future. The next property is very useful and might be the one that you will be using the most. That is the modifier properties. This lets you modify and add effects to your objects that are too tedious to do manually. The next one is the particle properties. This will be used if you want to add hair or particles that emit from the object. The next one is self-explanatory. This will add physics to your object, such as clothes or curtains. The following two properties are mostly for animations and advanced setting. It is not commonly used, so you don't have to worry about them for now. The second last one is the material properties. This is used when you want to quickly change the color and texture of an object. Lastly, the texture properties. You could preview how the texture of the object will look like, or you could control the brightness and all that stuff. Okay, moving on to the main window. On the top right corner, these are the different view settings. For now, you don't have to worry about these. What you do want to remember are the X-ray and 4 different viewports shading next to it. The X-ray and the wireframe viewports allows you to see objects behind the object. The solid viewport is the default viewport. The objects is in this viewport are in a solid form. Next is the material preview viewport. It is to preview how the material of the objects looks like. And the last one is the rendered viewport. In this viewport, you can see what the scenes will look like once it is rendered. Below it is the place where you can control different viewports. You can click the letters X, Y, and Z to view different angles, or to make it easier and save time, you can use the mouse, scroll the scrolling wheel up and down to zoom in and out, click and hold to move without changing the angle, and finally hold Shift and the scrolling wheel to change the angle. The 4 buttons below are similar functions, however this one will let you go to the camera view. Going to the left, we have the drop-down menu that shows different modes. 2 most used modes are Object Mode and Edit Mode. Object Mode only allows you to perform simple tasks like adding new objects, resize, move, and rotate. For more precise and advanced tasks, you will need to go to the Edit Mode where you can change each face, vertex, and points. Next to the Mode drop-down menu, there are 4 tabs. The View tab gives you tools to navigate in the viewport. The Select tab contains tools to select the object. The Add tabs is the tab that you will be using the most. It gives you the list of different objects types that you could choose to add in a scene. And lastly, the Object tab contains tools to edit the objects. However, you could also find these tools in the toolbar. The first one is the Cursor tool. It allows you to change the location of the 3D cursor. The next one allows you to move the object. If you click the red arrow, the object will move the x-axis, and it goes the same for the y and z. Below the Move tool is the Rotation tool. As you can see here, you can rotate the object along the y, x, and z axis. The next tool is the Scale tool. You can scale the objects to the size you desire, or you could make it longer or shorter by dragging the x-axis or the y-axis. To make it taller or shorter, you could drag the z-axis. The last tool is the Transform tool. It lets you adjust object position, rotation, and scale. Okay, so now I'll explain to you all the tools that you will need in the Edit mode because that is where most of the modeling will take place. So now we are in an Edit mode. If you click here, you can only select the vertices of the objects. This only allows you to select the edges of the object, and lastly, this lets you to select the faces. On your left is a toolbar, which is similar to the one in object mode. However, as you can see, there are some additional and advanced tools in the edit mode. For today's video, I will only be talking about the first 4 tools in the green section, because those are the tools that are used the most. The first one on the list is the extrude tool. It lets you extrude the selected region along the n-axis. Next is the inset face tool. It adds in faces within the selected face. And the next one is the bevel tool. It creates a bevel from the selected face. And lastly, the loop cut tool. It creates a loop cut along the mesh. Alright, those are all the tools that are most useful for beginners. In my next video, it will be a tutorial on the lighting in Blender. Thank you for watching my tutorial and see you in the next one. Bye!